talked about the specific way traffic was going to be rerouted around this for the next couple of days. But you were talking earlier about the semi that was involved in this, and we had that shot a little bit earlier of the cab of that truck, and you look at that and you just think how lucky it was for the driver of this this semi to have survived the collision with this overpass. It's just unthinkable how quickly this must have happened, and you can see what to me anyway appears to be some skid marks back here where that driver tried to hit the brakes and avoid impact, which obviously he could not avoid. So it's just you look at that and you just wonder how someone could survive that, but obviously he did. But obviously the man that was working construction here did not survive the collapse of this overpass. And hey, Nick, let's go ahead and get a little bit south of this. I'm talking to Pilot Nick Ringo, and you see the steel beam that's underneath this part of the overpass. That's the sort of rust-colored piece of metal you see underneath. That's what is on the roadway right there on the highway. There's a huge slab of concrete on top of that, and then a section of those metal beams came down, just pancaked.
Dan, we're gonna cut in on you. Dan, we're gonna interrupt you. Dan, we're gonna interrupt you real briefly because Evan Millward is standing by live with Police Chief Blackwell. Evan.
I want to bring Police Chief Blackwell in. You were standing. Thank you for stopping by and chatting with us. We talked a little bit earlier, but you guys are calling this a workplace accident. Can you describe a little bit what is the scene like right behind us right now?
Sure. So while the construction workers were in the process of demolishing the Hopple exit ramp from northbound 75, something happened. The structure gave way. A big piece of machinery collapsed with the deck onto the moving traffic of 75 below.
Do we know what kind of machinery? It looks almost like a crane from up here, but we're a good ways away. Do you know what kind?
Big piece of machinery, the Caterpillar there, several thousand pounds of machinery. The entire deck collapsed. We're very fortunate that we only have one fatality. There was a truck driver who was injured who smashed right into it as it was collapsing, but we're just lucky that it didn't impact other lives.
You mentioned this has got everyone's attention tonight. Expected up to 48-hour closure of southbound I-75. Can you describe the process that it's going to take to get this reopened?
Sure. We're working on reroutes as we speak, and we hope to have a traffic reroute plan that we can push out to the media within the next 90 minutes to 120 minutes. This area clearly will be impacted for the coming days, so we're advising people to stay away from the area, take extra time tomorrow coming down to work. We're going to notify our UC students and our Cincinnati State folks as well, but this is going to impact the traffic for quite some time. And
it's also going to coming home rush hour, the 5 o'clock rush tomorrow as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we're going to do the best we can. Obviously it's a very tragic situation and we're going to work our way through it, but we're going to ask for some patience from the Cincinnati community.
How many agencies are you guys working with right now? Because this was an ODOT project, but obviously this is your jurisdiction.
It is, and our firemen are here, and my police officers are here. City manager just left. ODOT is here. OSHA is called in. The coroner is here. So this is a very fluid scene. It's evolving as we're here. We hope to have it contained and more information to you within the next 60 to 90 minutes.
Earlier you mentioned up to hundreds of tons of concrete sitting on southbound 75. What does hundreds of tons of concrete look like?
Wow. You know, I've never seen anything like this in my life, and the entire overpass has just collapsed straight down onto the freeway. So it's quite a sight, and unfortunately a person did lose their life.
We do want to be clear, this is the old Hopple Street. It was in the process of being brought down.
Correct. In
a controlled way.
Right.
When this happened, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Any parting thoughts? I know we want to let you get back, but things people should know in terms of obviously the morning commute impacted, the evening commute impacted. How about, is there any reassurance about the safety of our infrastructure? It's something we talk a lot about in this city is infrastructure and needs for infrastructure improvements. What about the safety of Cincinnati's infrastructure? Well,
we think it's safe, but we're going to take every precaution here prior to reopening the freeway. Obviously, this is a very major thoroughfare in the city, in the state, in the nation for that matter. So we're going to make sure that we take every precaution prior to opening the freeway again.
A lot of attention from this nationwide already tonight. What should folks in Cincinnati know from your standpoint, from police, from fire, from EMS, from emergency responders about it's not a mass casualty situation here, but it is a massive, intensive scene. There's excavation that needs to be done, things like that. How well prepared are your guys?
We're prepared. I mean, there needs to be excavation and then assessment of the overall structure of the remaining bridge parts, and then the pavement itself we think may have some significant damage. So we're going to be looking at all of those factors prior to reopening I-75.
All right, Chief, anything I'm missing?
That's it.
Chief Blackwell, thank you so much. You heard Chief Blackwell. There's going to be some reroutes information coming from Cincinnati Police here in the next hour or two. We'll be able to get that to you as soon as we get it. But this will impact traffic both in the morning rush, in the evening rush, into the next couple of days, probably into and through Wednesday. Chief Blackwell saying he's never seen anything like this. Hundreds of tons of concrete, an entire piece of construction equipment comes crashing down onto southbound I-75 earlier in the night, Monday night. This is now Tuesday morning. So a lot of impact here that you need to know about. We're staying out here. We'll have that impact, the traffic diversion information for you as soon as we get it from Cincinnati Police. We're going to send it back to you guys in the studio now.
All right, Evan Millward reporting for us live. Chief Blackwell speaking with confidence. He says we are prepared. He says there will be excavation and reassessment and a whole host of people on the scene, fire, police, OSHA, people from the Department of Transportation from the state. And one thing that is of interest to almost all of us here, he says they are working on a traffic plan for tomorrow morning. We will have people here at 4 a.m. starting at 4 a.m. instead of 4:30 for Good Morning Tri-State. And of course, Adam Marshall, 4 a.m. And Adam Marshall, our traffic reporter, will be all over this, and we'll be looking at the traffic plan that the city comes up with.
Yeah, sure thing. And the Chief's also said he's never seen anything like this. I'm pretty sure I never have seen anything like this. Carol, you?
I cannot even imagine. As we've been talking, I-75 stretches from Miami up to Sault Ste. Marie, and truckers all up and down and travelers all up and down that corridor are going to have to figure out a way, if they're going south, to work around this.
Yeah, but they will have a plan, they say, and they're going to keep us updated through the night. We'll break in if we need to. We'll certainly be on WCPO.com. We'll be tweeting. We'll be on Facebook. So stay with us on all platforms, and certainly join Catherine and the team at 4 a.m. for Good Morning Tri-State. For now, folks, we're going to send you back to programming. Thanks for staying with us.